Welcome back to Tib Reviews, A Dance with Dragons. I'm back once again to discuss Chapter 5. So we have Tyrion's chapter, again, so Tyrion, second chapter, which is cool. I mean, we all love Tyrion. Here's where things are going to get a little different in some of these reviews, because a lot of these are going to be, it seems like smaller chapters, so I apologize if the reviews are a little bit shorter, but really there's not a whole lot of content for some of these, so it's not that I don't want to put forth the effort, it's that there isn't a whole lot to talk about, and there's content, but there isn't a whole lot. So basically, we see him departing Pentos in the Cheese Lord, as he's taken and calling Magister Illyrio, in this litter, because he does not want, or Illyrio doesn't want him to be seen. So they're basically in this cart where the shades are drawn and nobody can see in, and so they're just making their way towards presumably wherever Daenerys is. And they're not real clear about that in the beginning. So they're kind of making their way there, and really there's just a lot of idle chit chat. You learn a little bit more about Illyrio. You learn a little bit more about Tyrion. Tyrion apparently wanted to be the High Septon at one point, which it is. Given what we know about him, that's very, very interesting. Although he admittedly says, and then I found women. I discovered women, and all of a sudden, that no longer interested me. So, go figure. At any rate, we also find out a little bit more about Varys. So apparently, Illyrio and Varys are like this. They go back. They're friends from the Hood, if you will. And so we learn a little bit how he rose to where he is now, and how he got, how he learned his trade and his humble beginnings, if you will. And that's interesting. It's not much more than that, but it is cool that we get to learn a little bit more about these two characters. But essentially, we know that they're heading towards Volantis, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they talk about, they drink a lot of wine, they eat a lot of really good food, and Tyrion jokes how, I'm going to be the size of him if I keep eating like this by the time that we get there. They talk about, the sellswords and stuff like that that they have employed, and whether or not they trust them, and they kind of crack wise a little bit back and forth. And that's pretty much it, it kind of ends with, and they kept going, so, somewhat reminiscent of a Bran chapter in the sense that nothing really happens, they just kind of go, but at least we get some interesting exposition on the characters, whereas I say about the Bran chapters, that's mostly just they walked and walked, the trees were green, so green that they were green like the dreams that Jojo. I swear to God, I can't. But I digress. We get a couple jibes from Tyrion. We get a couple jokes, and maybe that's all. Maybe that's all it needs is punch it up a little bit for some of these Bran chapters. But nevertheless, this was at least fun to read about Tyrion once more, and it's good to hear from him. And he's heading to Volantis, so I guess we'll see where that goes. So that's it for Chapter 5. I will hopefully be back soon to do Chapter 6.